Okay, so the first part, I would say that if you have not left home, you would think your father's farm is the biggest. So when you leave home, when you leave your country, when you study abroad, you understand that there are other types of farming, there are other sizes of farmland. This I am saying is not about farm or agriculture, but perspectives to life. You get to see things from different point of view. You get to understand this thing can actually be done in a different way. You understand? And there's no reward for suffering. So there are other ways of achieving things without the tedious ways you have been doing before. You understand? There's also things you can share with others. There are insights from your own local community, you understand, that you can share with others that gives you that makes you valuable in any community or gathering you find.
Hello, welcome to Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World, hosted by Roseline Oladeji. On this channel, I interview international students and professionals from around the world on their inspiring journey and diverse perspective. New episode drop every Saturday. You don't want to miss it. And remember to comment and subscribe to channel to stay up to date with our latest interviews. Let's dive into story that transcend borders. Or here is your host, Roseline Oladeji. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World. And today we have a very special guest with us, Scholar Edward Oladipupo. Thank you so much for joining me today on this channel. And before we start, I would like to share the goals of our interview series, Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World. And the aim is twofold. One is to inspire international students by showing that studying abroad is a tangible goal which is achievable by everyone and regardless of background or challenges. And the second one is to provide valuable insights and wisdom to navigate various challenges at different stages of their journey. So by sharing your story today, I hope we can change the perception that studying abroad is not far-fetched and empower our viewers and audience around the world with the belief that nothing is impossible. Let's dive into our conversation and explore how you've navigated your academic journey and overcome obstacles along the way. And for everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe. So to our guest, before we dive into your journey and experiences, let's start with a fun icebreaker. So the question is, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who will it be and why?
First of all, thank you for having me on this brilliant show. And yeah, to your question, the person would be Steve Jobs. Exactly. And why would be because I just find the story very inspiring because to be fired from your own company and to have the strength to go build something else and the willingness to come back to what you built initially. I think it's just like his name, Jobs. When you look at the life story of Jobs in the Bible, he had everything, he lost everything, and God replenished him back with even much more. So his story is very fascinating to me. Aside from him being an innovator and a brilliant guy, yeah, I think his story has a lot to teach us. Yeah.
Interesting. Nice. This shows how entrepreneurial you are as a person as well. And that's where your interest lies. That's interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing. And then it has given us another avenue to actually know you better. And that's the goal as well. Moving forward, I would just like for you to do a quick introduction and background. So introduce yourself and share a bit about your academic background.
Thank you very much once again. It's a great pleasure for me to be on this platform and to connect with you again. So I am Edward, had my background in agricultural economics from the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso in Nigeria. And thereafter, I had my first master program in open innovation and youth entrepreneurship in the Mediterranean agri-food sector. It was co-organized by the University of Bari and CM Bari as well. Currently, I'm studying global economy and business, my second master program at the University of Casino and Southern Lazio. And it's been a very interesting journey. My interest has been always in the next years of innovation management, economics, business, entrepreneurship. And the truth is, when you think you know something and you just discover that that which you think you know is just a drop, a very tiny drop. So it's been a very interesting journey for me, learning and learning, unlearning things I thought I knew and relearning them in a better way or from different perspectives. It's been an interesting ride. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Could you describe your journey from pursuing a fully funded 6 month diploma, as you have said that you did in CM, to now studying the 2 year master's program in Italy? I just want to get a background to how the process was like, how you got the was the fully funded scholarship, and then how it has been from there.
Okay, so I think it started when I completed my internship during my bachelor studies. So then I was overwhelmed with the thought of what is next after bachelor's, after my BTech. Though I had no pressure from home and no pressure from my environment, there was no pressure, but my dad had retired. My mom was to retire in like 6 months, and they were both highly educated. All my siblings, I am the child. So all my siblings all had their master's degree. Some had double degrees with extra
Mm.
certification like the ICANN. So cannot just settle for just bachelor's degrees. So
Yeah.
I also had the thought of now my parents are both of them would be retired very soon as I've been. So I also don't want to burden them with the responsibility of sponsoring my master's program. So it was so much for me. The pressure was not from anyone, but just within me. So that was when it all started. Let me just say my 500 level for semester I had started applying to different programs, scholarship programs. So I wouldn't say scholarship program. First, it was just programs. I also had this in mind to study abroad. So I got into the University of Oxford, University of Kent, UNU, United Nations University. But then I never knew. Initially, I knew that I wanted to study abroad. Then later, I knew that, okay, I don't want to burden my parents with such financial responsibilities. Then scholarships started coming into my mindsets. I mean, I had to change my mindset. So, because when I got into Oxford, I wrote to the admissions committee that I am pleased to have this admission and all that, but I cannot proceed because I cannot afford such education financial wise. So I was
Yeah.
given 30% scholarship and free accommodation. But I never even replied to the email. I didn't acknowledge it because I was like, who was going to pay the remaining 70%? Well, one thing I learned in that process is I should have voiced out to my family because I was keeping all this to myself. I mean, all these admissions, I never even shared it with my family because the pressure was from me, not from them, and I was just so burdened with the thought of it. So I think that is one thing others can learn from my story. To always share with your family, with your friends. It is very important because you never where the answer is. You don't have to do it all by yourself. So thereafter, but one thing that struck me after those period was I knew I don't want to go to where everyone is going, like the UK, US, Canada. Those three locations were like a rhyme. And whenever you ask my colleagues who go there, where would you like to go? US, UK, Canada. It's like a it's all these places people are mentioning. So I started looking in a different direction. I was looking at the Erasmus. So I applied to Erasmus Mundus. It was one of the applications that made me cry. I mean, I used to rejection letters, but I think the one that got to me was Erasmus Mundus. I was already crying before I knew I was crying, so it was that. So yeah, that
Interesting.
was how it started. So it's been a relentless journey to be able to just keep pushing you get an email and the first thing you're looking for is unfortunately. And when you see that there is no unfortunately in the body of the entire email, then you can now like calm down, then go through the email again and like, okay, I think it's gonna be a good email. So it's a rough ride, but it is worth it.
Awesome. So you haven't touched how you later got the CM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the CM, okay, I already knew I was not going to these three locations or where everyone will focus on. So I was looking towards Europe, Asia, yeah, and I came across the program on Instagram because I was following a couple of pages like Opportunity Desk, Sisterly
Mm.
HQ, and the likes of them. I got to see the what's it called, the poster, and I just gave it a try. So my slogan is use all your fingers to press all the buttons. Who knows which is going to get clicked? So and another thing that helped me with getting into the CM program was early application. It also helped me with a couple of other applications. So early application is really helpful because I remember when I was applying to CM, my medical documents were kind of old as of then. So I was reached out to by I think the selection committee that I needed to provide a recent medical report. So I had to go do that and send it within a week. And it was very helpful. I mean, the communication was consistent. I think that is one thing I encourage everyone to do. Don't wait till 1 month to deadline or 1 week to deadline before you submit your application. Early application makes it very easy for, the admission committee to reach out to you to ask for clarifications. And it was very interesting. So yeah, I got to learn about CM on Instagram, and I also had a very early application, which helped in clarifying some doubts and making sure that, things were clear. Yeah,
Awesome.
that
Awesome.
was
Thank
all
you so much for sharing that.
yeah.
Yeah. I think you mentioned a lot of things. First, you touched on mindset, which I think is very, very important if you are starting this journey. You have to be able to see yourself there before you actually get in there and condition your mindset to actually accommodate what you are looking out for.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you have started this process, maybe not the same, but different ones in different times, like starting from 500 level. So even before you knew you had NYSC, which is the mandatory 1 year service to Nigeria, our fatherland, our motherland. But you started out regardless early, putting out applications. You talked about rejection, which is also part of the game, I would say. You talked about how you actually was focusing your effort in some specific countries, and with your experience, you were able to redirect what you got from it. You were able to redirect to maybe Europe and then Asia and the like. And another thing I also made mention or emphasize on is the fact that, following social media, you can't just say, okay, I'm looking for admission. I have a lot of people that will come to my DM if you have anything. It's not as if I'm the one that will put. There are a lot of.
You're not the one providing it.
You said?
You're not the one providing it.
Exactly. And there are a lot of people actually providing these services, like are dedicated, as you said, there's opportunity for youth.
For youth, exactly. Opportunities
It?
for Africans. There are lots of pages out there. Opportunities for youth is one of them.
Yeah.
There's so much out there. Anyways.
Yes, there are a lot of the pages online. Just search, follow them. Sometimes you have to subscribe to their newsletter. If anything is dropping, they send it to your mail directly. So these are some of the things you do to prepare ahead for these opportunities. And as you said, you actually got that CM application on Instagram. Someone actually sent it to me for me. So it's also you also connecting with people that have information about these things, subscribing to their, maybe follow on Instagram. There are so many people sharing opportunities every day on LinkedIn, on Facebook, everywhere it is there. There's a page dedicated to Erasmus on Facebook. So if you are there, you learn one or two things about people's experience. And this also is an avenue for you to actually listen to people and then know about their journey as well. So there are opportunities in UK, US, Canada, Europe, Asia, everywhere. But you have to
Everywhere.
know exactly. You have to know which one. So before I go ahead, can you quickly touch on how you move to first, how you actually deal with rejection? I always want to um let my guests actually mention on it so that they can encourage people, because some people just believe if they don't get it, they fall into depression and the likes. But the journey is for the top, really. So how do you handle rejection? And then if you can now uh round it up into how you actually decide to go for the regional scholarship after the 6 month diploma scholarship.
Okay, so my my story with rejections started long before ventured into applying for scholarships. So as you already know, I am more of the business inclined person. Before my 500 level, I had participated in lots of entrepreneurial competitions, startup contests, and the likes of them. I think it started when I was in 100 level. So I've been applying to different. No, it started when I was in SS3. Yes, like when I was in secondary school. Yeah, so while I was in secondary school, SS3, I applied for the first edition of Tony Elumelu Foundations. And I had to teach myself break even and other economic terminologies that were requested for by the program during the application. That was the first time I applied to the program and the last time I applied to the program because I was not selected. Yes, so rejection can actually get into you in at such a degree whereby you're like, I'm no longer applying, just like I did with the TEF program, the New Foundation. So because I actually put so much of effort into it, and at the end of the day, I was rejected. So there were lots of rejections prior to my to the advent of my scholarship applications. So rejections are normal for he who is going far. The way I say it, or the way I tell a few friends, is one rejection, 10 more applications. So when I get one rejections, I need to submit 10 more applications to fill in that gap. Exactly. So that's just the way it is. And another way to look at it is 100 applications, 10 responses, 5 favorable, then you get to see 3 that are enticing. Then you pick one. Then you give them, those breakfast or love story back and say, I am really interested in your program. It is very fascinating, but I am sorry I would not be moving with your provision, with your offer. Exactly. So
Awesome.
that's why it's a two-way street. It's just that the
Awesome.
value from the other side is bigger. But with time, we would be the bigger persons and be big with lots of opportunities. Till date, I still attend seminars, webinars on how to apply for scholarship. So I would not see myself as one who has gotten to the top already and
What was that thing?
others. Exactly. On Sunday, I attended one by, I cannot remember his name, but he studied real estate management. He's a lecturer now in the UK. So I attended his webinar on Sunday on how to apply for scholarship. So I still
Wow.
listen to such webinars. I attend. It was a 3 hours program and it's going to go on for the next 6 weeks. So I still participate in such program and rejections are normal if you are going for, and I just whenever I got the rejection, I think yesterday was Monday, yeah. So I just the way I do it, I just can't read. Is there unfortunately? Okay, unfortunately, and I just swipe away. There's no point stressing reading it. So if it is unfortunately, I know I didn't get anything. And there are actually levels to it. There are times you can reach out to them to understand where you were lagging and where to understand where you could improve. There are also times where you don't need to stress yourself. If it's a rejection, just let it. And also, yeah, And there are also some interesting rejection letters whereby you don't see, unfortunately, in the body of the email at all. I saw one, I think, 2 months ago. I had to share with my friend. I was like, wow, this was well crafted. I actually had to start the email to understand the pattern in case I say something like that later because it's really good to me. I was like, wow, these guys are well good with communicating their rejection letters now. So it's normal, but you is going to go far, needs lots of rejections, and it's only makes your skin thicker.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Rejection is normal, and for one rejection, you have to prepare to do 10 more applications. I mean, that is so profound. And that is the way you actually build a very good growth mindset. It is not about you at all. It is also about you growing. And there is a two-way street. You too can send rejection letter. If you get admitted to 3 or 2 or more
I
programs,
got
right?
rejection from different schools.
The
I
two
also
others
had
you are leaving now, you are rejecting them. So you also
exactly.
be very intentional in drafting your love letter
Exactly.
to them. So it's a two-way thing, but before you get there are some that are really lucky in applying for one program, and that's the one they actually got. And there are some other people that we are applying for tons of programs,
Yes,
and they
I
get
think
1 or 2,
to
3
have
out
to
of it.
it.
So you have to be prepared to actually face. You're saying
Yeah, so
something?
just to add to it, so like I had a friend that he never got a rejection ever in his life. He also, as at then, we were both applying to grants and other startup funding. So he never got rejection ever in his life. And the first time he actually got a rejection, it was based on gender bias. So they had to let somebody. I mean, the top three winners cannot all be males. So he was left behind. And that was the only condition for him not winning because the organizers had to meet him in person to just make him understand. But I think there's a lot to learn from rejections, a lot to learn from failures, rather than always getting it. The difference is clear, but
Yeah.
that can be an entire story. But let me just keep it there. I had lots of
Yeah.
rejections before I got like 4 different admissions after my first program here in Italy. I got into University of Udine,
Mhm.
University of Napoli, University Politecnica de Marche, and University of Casino. So it's back and forth. There are rejections. You also have multiple offers where you have to reject some. So
So
it's a
in
fair
short,
game.
this will give rejection letter.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So the second part of the question will be around that regional scholarship, how you got to know about it and then apply as well.
Yes. So when you are away from home, when I say away from home, when you're abroad, you need to be intentional about whatever you're doing. You need to be intentional about your friends, about yourself. When you are given the opportunity to meet people, ask intelligent questions, not questions you can easily find on
Mhm.
Google or ChatGPT. So I was fortunate to meet our hosts, um, Miss Rose, and she was very, very helpful, giving insights on how to navigate, this part. For me, I honestly appreciate and insights because I could have gone to the University of Virginia, but your analysis of how the northern part of Italy is more expensive than the middle. The middle is more expensive than the south, and all. It also helped shape my decision, and I do not regret it today. I do not regret any of those insights. So thank knowing about the regional scholarship, I have to reach out to people. I look for people on LinkedIn who are already in this university. We also have the
Yeah.
Nigerian scholars in Italy. That's another platform. So do not take for granted any community, any opportunity you have with individual and be intentional about it. Don't just be in the because the group exists, or don't just ask vague questions that include because when you ask so many vague questions, people might not really engage with you. So ask questions after you've done your own part of your own research. So there are informations you will not find on YouTube. There are informations you will not find on Google online, but these are informations you get from people, from individuals. So whenever you have the opportunity of connecting with these individuals, ask those important questions. So I met with Ms. Rose. I also met with individuals on LinkedIn or in this region. So I learned about the regional scholarship, how to apply, what to do and what not to, because information is just very key. It's very important. I still made a mistake. Yes, I have to say it. I still made a mistake because some things were not so clear to me. Maybe I should say it. I'm in the Lazio region, so to get the regional scholarship for the Lazio region, your family income must be less than 27,000 euros. And as of then, I just thought to myself, 27,000 euros. Let me declare 2,000 euros because that was approximately my brother's income at then. As at then, that I declared 2,000 euros. Believe two 2,000 euros is less than 27,000 euros. You understand? That was my own perception. But when I came to casino in person, and spent a few months, I understood that some people were actually declaring 100 euros, 20 euros, zero euro as their family income for a whole year, which was very, to me, ridiculous. Not ridiculous as in anyone could have such an income, but it's just very difficult to wrap my head around such representing. And those that were first considered for the scholarship, they were given the accommodation without stress immediately. While 2,000 euros, wow, you're so wealthy, you're so rich. I could have equally declared €0 as my income. Because the most important thing is the income of your parents, not siblings or yourself. As a student, you're not making, you don't have any, your income is zero, and they are not interested about the income of your siblings. So I could have equally declared zero as my family income because my parents were retired. You understand? So, but I didn't. That was the mistake I made. But now the lower your family income, the more opportunities you have in accessing financial aid for the scholarship, accommodation, and other provisions. So information is key. The network is also very important. In casino, we have the Ethiopian community, the Indian community, and some other communities. But it is very important. I had to take some people classes for free in order to get. So it's a kind of trade by barter. So I just told them, I'll teach you for free in exchange for such information. So one of them is part of the Ethiopian community. Another one, she's from Kenya. They are also much. So I get information from, because we are just about 3 Nigerians here. I found one on LinkedIn and it's graduated already. We don't really have a strong hold in casino, but afterwards I could do in order to get what I wanted. So your information is, and network, community are very important as
well. Wow. I love how you have, summarized everything. Formation is very key. Network, community, because actually what might be stopping you from the next opportunity is actually information, sincerely speaking. A lot of things I've gotten in my life, I really do not stumble on them online or do this. They came from recommendation from people. They just sent it to me. Try this. I applied, and that was it. And one of the things you mentioned that I also love very well is actually the use of LinkedIn. That place is really, really underrated. Sincerely, there are a lot of things you can do. People are sincerely ready to help. Slide into people's DM, ask questions. Even if it's for job, it's for scholarship, people are there. They might not, it might not be that same day you send the message that they reply, but when they have the time, they respond to you sincerely. Yeah. So you are looking into a school, as you said, you just look for people that are maybe graduate or currently in that same location. It will bring it. Slide into 1 or 2. Even if you have to write 10, at least one person will reply to you. Even for jobs, you are eyeing a place that maybe you really want to work. Just go and search that place online on LinkedIn. 2 or 3 people will be working in that place. Right. Maybe even the role you are looking up to. Slide into their DM. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. What can I do to get there? they will offer their suggestion if they are really, at least I'm so sure if you message like 10 people, 2, 3, 5 will reply out of all
Two,
of them.
three would have.
So these are ways, yeah.
Exactly.
What did he say?
I mean, if you send a message to 10 persons, at least 2 or 3 would reply you. So it's just normal.
For sure. For sure. So thank you so much for bringing that up as well. Moving forward, I would like to ask that what impact has the regional scholarship had on your overall student experiences and lifestyle in Italy? So, how the regional scholarship has supported you financially?
Yes, that's a good question because honestly, there's a difference between a fully funded scholarship, as I would say, and a provisional scholarship. So I would say the regional scholarship falls into the category of provisional scholarship because it's dependent on your family income and it's, yes, caters for a couple of things, but not every. A fully funded scholarship is just more or less like, you've also benefited from a fully funded scholarship. It's like living like a king, living like a. In fact, you don't you your problem is that you don't have a problem when you have a fully funded scholarship because you basically have everything. You understand? I mean, the difference
Yeah.
is clear. The days of CM, where you go, you just have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your dinner. Someone comes to your room to clean your bed sheets and your room. It's a premium lifestyle. You understand? Just like the way you see it in the
So,
movies.
I love it.
Exactly. You have people's tickets, you have monthly allowances. Wow. Wow. So, but for the regional scholarship, you know, the money is given to you in bits. You understand? It's not every month. So you have to be disciplined. You can squander everything in 1 month. You can also learn how to manage what is given to
Mhm.
you for the next half is given to you. You understand? So it's a different. That's why I actually put them into different categories. So when you're in a category, know you're in this category. Don't live like you are in a fully funded category. So it's
Mhm.
a different lifestyle. So you see, you can. That's another thing about education in Italy. You can be in the same classroom with your colleagues, and you're all paying different tuition, and you're all getting different levels of benefits of the scholarship. So yes, the scholarship helps. So here's the burden of accommodation. If you do not get the hostel, you are given a kind of support for your accommodation. You're also given discounts for feeding, and also for books if you actually had such expenses. So yes, it is very helpful. And I also had an Erasmus program. It's called the BIP, the Blended Intensive Program. So we had like 4 months online, then 1 week in Germany in Darmstadt. So
Oh.
the scholarship was equally very helpful because though I had to pay for my expenses first, I mean I had to pay for the flights and the hotel accommodation and all that.
Mhm.
So I was refunded such, and it came in I mean, when I needed it the most. So you just need to know the category of the scholarship you're applying for and the category of the scholarship you are benefiting from. So you know the kind of lifestyle you live. You cannot be living
Mhm.
a fully funded lifestyle with a provisional scholarship. It doesn't work. If I mean you can go red in a week. So it's different. It's very you just need to be disciplined. And being disciplined
Yeah.
is not a it's not a function of competency. It's a function of survival.
Mhm.
You understand? When
Mhm.
I say I'm disciplined, it's not really of pride. I don't have I don't have a choice. I have to be disciplined. I cannot, there are some things you could be tempted to do. The devil
Mhm.
cannot really tempt me to discipline. Not because I cannot fall into temptation. But because it's not part of the options, I don't have a choice. If I have to survive, I have to be disciplined. So
I love it.
it's a no-win.
This is good
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you so much. Discipline is not is not a function of competence. It's actually start of survival. Awesome. If you don't do that, something that will teach you is coming behind.
There are some lessons you don't teach
Yeah,
people. You
I
just
mean, yeah. It's indeed very true, as you have said. And one thing I want to reinforce from what you spoke about is actually the part that you have to know which category you are first off, and then live accordingly. And the fact that you also have other opportunities, like other avenues to apply to other opportunities, though they have to be in tandem with the regional scholarship, because I know there are some fully funded scholarship that you can't apply for any other financial aid again. And even for this regional scholarship, there are some, but for Erasmus, you can actually apply for it even while going for regional scholarship. Or if you have any other funding outside, you might not be able to combine it together. So thank you for also mentioning that part. But a follow-up question I want to ask would be that one, of course, from what you've said, it's going in line, but I want to ask you specifically, can one actually survive solely on that regional scholarship?
That's a tricky question to be honest. So let's just take it with because this question is not I mean, I've heard this question before. So, and that is the reason why I had to do creating categories. So the fully funded scholarship, you don't have a problem. And that is your problem, that you don't have a problem because everything is taken care of. And even if you into the authorities, you don't still have a problem because the organization who brought you answer for you. You understand? They are responsible for you. So you are just like a 5-year-old. You don't have a problem. If there's any problem,
Indeed.
you call your parents. So you don't have a problem for a fully funded scholarship. But you have to live responsibly still. I mean,
Of course.
to preserve the name of your country. So that's it.
Of course.
For a funded scholarship, they just pay for your let's say your tuition fee. So you think about how you get to the country, your flights, your visa application. They don't care. They might assist, maybe present a letter of invitation or all that, but they just pay for your tuition fee and that's all. You take care of the rest. But for a provisional scholarship, which like the regional scholarship, and it's counting solely on the regional scholarship is not advisable. So you would still have to take care of some bills, some responsibility. It's just see it like a discount on all your expenses. So that is why I would advise people to pursue the regional scholarship. It's a discount on all your expenses, 100% discount on your tuition fee. Let's say 40 to 50% discount on your accommodation, somewhere around 60% discount on your feeding. It's just a discount on all your expenses, but you would pay something. You understand? You would pay something. You would pay. In fact, in your first year, you have to pay. If you are from a low income country, your tuition by the university subsidized. Then, if you get the regional scholarship, it will be put into consideration, but you have to pay that subsidized fee. You understand? So I have to pay 150 euros plus the 16 euros of tax. So you have to pay something. You would always
But
have
it
to
is
pay.
refunded.
Yes, it is refunded. It is refunded. But at the moment you have to pay. You understand? That's what I mean
Of
by it's not like it's free. Then you just go and you pick it and you go. No. You would still pay something at every point in time. You would still pay something. And it's good to have the right perception, to ask questions, to reach out to people and ask questions. Because some of this information we see online are not really the way it is being presented. So I had this concept of, I will resume at the University of Casino in September. I will get the accommodation in October, and I'll be paid the scholarship around October, November. It did not turn out that way. It was not like that. In fact, I didn't get the scholarship until March this year. And I was
Wow.
expecting to receive last year, October, November, but I didn't even, and I did not also get the accommodation, the hostel. So you can
Wow.
see it's just more like what I ordered versus what I got because I was so fixated on this is how it's going to play out. Our result in September. I just needed a place to stay for the main. You know, the way some YouTubers put some information out there is just not the way one ought to put the information there because
Yeah.
it's not true. Like it's so sugar
Mm.
coated. Like once you just arrive at the airport, you're giving 27,000 euros. You're giving. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Well, you have to pay something at some point in time. It will be refunded to you. Yes, don't rely 100% on it as though it will solve all your problem and you have to do nothing. You would always have to pay us one point or
Mm.
the other.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. I mean, and again, this is why we're actually putting this out at this point in time for people to be able to see from people's perspective and their experiences so that they can learn one or two things and not make mistake. I've seen a lot of people, they pack their bag from Nigeria. Some people pack their bag from Nigeria, all relying on this regional scholarship, and then get to Italy, they are stranded. They don't know where to go. And we are still coming to some of the tips that will help them. This is actually going, it's interesting for time, but, and then we are still just halfway. Oh my God. We have to be concise going forward because I still have a lineup of questions. But thank you for your honesty and sharing from your experiences. And before we continue, I'd just like to encourage everyone watching to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And please take a moment to like this video, comment with your any questions or thoughts you have about relocation to Italy and about this discussion as well. Your engagement help us to create more content like this and reach more viewers like you. So let's go back to our conversation. The next question will be to discuss any challenges you faced, such as studying abroad and coping with language barriers, and how you have managed to actually overcome these challenges.
Yes, I would say, well, I'll just, it's an interesting question. You think you're strong, so you're being tested. So I think that's a
Right.
very precise way of answering the question. So that's the answer to your question, but maybe to put it in better context, but just try to draw me back in line if I am talking too much. Yeah, you think you're strong until you're tested, until you're tested. So,
Mm.
but for me, I have a kind of upbringing that you have to be prepared. Like I mean, I came from an all boys home. I'm the last child of all of four boys, so
Interesting.
the training was more like military background. So and you have to keep learning everything mom knows and that. So before I go to anywhere, I go on YouTube, watch everything about the place before I even went
Mm.
to. I mean, I was just going to spend 1 week in Germany. I went on YouTube to look at how downstairs was like, how Germans behave, what to expect, what not to expect. I was just going to spend 1 week, and I put in so much effort in watching YouTube videos, going online, checking questions, and all that. I before coming to Italy, I I started learning Italian using Duolingo, and I also watch different YouTube videos trying to understand, the culture and the likes. There's a difference between theory and practical. You can learn how to
Oh,
drive on the book, but when you're
online.
on the driver's seat stand. So getting to Italy, there were a lot of culture shocks, and you have been home. I mean, I was studying in Oyo State, Ogbomoso precisely, and I resided in Lagos. I've spent like a year away from home before, but there's a difference between you can easily run home from Oyo State to Lagos. It's about 6 hours, and you're home already. Something you can just feel like you just want to hug your mom. It's very therapeutic. It's maybe just 30 seconds, but it solves a lot of problems. But yeah, in Italy, you cannot rush to Nigeria to take a hug. Sometimes even the video call might not do it. Maybe if the call is like 2 hours, it might eat. But being far away from your family is not so easy. No matter how strong or sick you think you are, it's not easy. So that's the first one. Then the language as well is something I would advise anyone planning to study abroad, particularly in Europe, learn the language of the land. It is important because English is not the language of Europe. It's not an European language. When you're in Italy, you speak Italian. When you're in Germany, you speak German. When you're in Netherlands, you speak Dutch. When you're in Iceland, different things. When you're in Finland, you speak Finnish. You speak different, like there is almost a language for each country. So don't think, oh, it's Europe, it's English. Oh, it's not like that. And you even go online and check what are the percentage of English speakers in this country. And you see the percentage 70%, 80%. It's a lie. When you land, you understand that it's different. It's different. The figures online are not exactly. You'll be so sure. Oh, this is not what I read online. No, it's so you need to learn the language. It's important. It's very important. I was going to spend the week in Germany. I learned a few German and get some money. So she should be in Edward. I mean, it's very important. It can be fun and it can be very stressful as well. But it is important. It is very important to learn the language. And I'll just say this very quickly. Learn the language so you can understand. I actually heard the
Learn the
saying
language.
from
Please come
someone.
again.
Learn the language so you can understand it. Not because you want to impress you or because you want to. Yes, learning the language is a survival strategy over here. But learn the language to understand the joke because Italians are friendly and well, that can be a controversial statement, but I have lots of Italian friends now, and Italians are friendly, but they like when you meet someone, just like in Nigeria, you try to say something funny when you meet someone for the first time, someone from a different tribe or a different community. You try to make a joke so the person can kind of feel relaxed around you. So Italians do the same as well. They try to joke. You understand? They try to joke and they try to just lighten the mood so you can feel relaxed. But if you don't understand the language, you don't understand the joke, you don't bond. And there's no point. You understand? When you've killed the phone, there's no point. You understand? I have Italian friends. Well, when I say I have friends or Italian friends, I'm not the type of person that have lots of friends, anyways. So I mean, maybe two or three. That three of them. When I'm around them, they try to, crack a few jokes, and some of them I'm able to catch. I'm like, oh, that's funny. You understand? So it's not like there's any hard feelings. You understand? But if you don't understand the joke, you just kill the fun, and your relationship with them will just be too professional, and that's boring, and you may not really get much from them. So it's important to learn the language.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, understand the language so you can understand the joke. Interesting. So, and you mentioned, I think for people that have this growth mindset, which I've found in some of the conversations we've been having now, is the fact that they are able to go all out, learn, just do not have that fixed mindset that I can't know this thing or I already know this thing or this kind of, they are always, as you said, consuming information, both in form of video, go online, go in and experience, go into the shoe of people that have experienced what you're trying to do, learn from it. And that's what I do a lot. Before I get anywhere, I've been there, searching for information online, consuming a lot of videos. But what I see nowadays is, even if someone is asking you a question and you have a video that explicitly explain that concept, or whatever that question is, and you pick that link, send it to the person, they are still like, no, tell me. But you have to cultivate that habit of listening to content, especially good ones, because like my guest has said, he has broke a lot of tables today. Like they are in lie, they are sugarcoating a lot of things, which is true as well. But you have to if you even listen to it, you'll be able to at least to so many extents prepare ahead than just going there and meeting a lot of experience all together. We have to run now, but I still want you to touch on the academic programs, how it is different, both the diploma and the MSc, in terms of academic rigor, the teaching styles, and research opportunities. Maybe you can compare it, just your experience so far.
Okay, so for the diploma and master, it's more of what we will call professional master in Nigeria. You understand? Not something so intense. It's intense in its own degree, but it's very different from the academic. So you do most of projects, understanding concepts and applying them in projects. So that was how the diploma program was for me. And it's more of professional for professionals. Like you're already working, you're trying to maybe get a raise or promotion. You can take the program and, level up and maybe apply for promotion. Then for the academic, it's actually, yeah, so still on the diploma, it's actually 60 ECT. That's European credits time or something like that. It's a number of times you spend studying and stuff. So 60 ECT. But if you want to do a PhD in Europe, you need a minimum of 120 ECT. And that was one of the reasons why I am studying my second master program now. So for academics master, it's 120 ECT, meaning with this I can move further for a PhD program. And the difference is the academic master is more, it's equally applied because you get to do internships and you also have to do projects in some courses, but it's more intensive, like generally intensive. And in my university, it's kind of funny because we have two different courses that look similar, but they are not. So we have like economics and entrepreneurship, MSc economics and entrepreneurship. And we also have MSc global economy and business. So there are some courses that I am doing that are 12 credits. And it is actually 6 credits for 6 or 9 credits for the other guys. That's economics and entrepreneurship. But when you look at how much they are taught, it's different. They may just, like the particular course, they only taught maybe till chapter 10. Meanwhile, I and my colleagues studied till chapter 8. The difference is clear. It's not just about studied 10 chapters, I studied it. Even the depth of the 10 chapters is not as deep as I did. And we both studied economics, but it's not the same economics. The depths are different. The focus is also different. So, and when you
We
see
can touch
the
on the
number of
exams too.
okay, then also like in Nigeria, you only have one opportunity to do an exam. You write the exam. If you fail it, you wait for the next year to do it. But in Italy, for the academic master program, when you fail an exam, let's say in January, you can sit the exam in February. So we have exam openings. So we have exams in January, February, then June, July. Then if you fail January, you fail in February. If the course is still open for July, you can take it in July. You can take it in June, and you can also take it in September after the summer break. So you have like 5 different options of taking a single exam. So that's and it's just crazy because you just have to pass because especially if you are coming from Nigeria, from Africa, because I've actually discussed this with my friends from Ethiopia and Kenya and the likes. It's funny because how can you fail an exam first time, second time, third time, fourth? You just have to pass. So you don't have an option to fail. You understand? So failing an exam for them, it's not a big deal. Oh, don't worry, you can take it again.
Yeah.
Because you have like 5 different options. You already have an insight of what the questions are like. And I also get to ask some funny questions from my seniors like, Edward, you're going to the exam. Do you plan to pass? And I'm like, excuse me, I'm not going to. And it's just because some people go to the exam just to look at the questions and they just leave. But I'm not advising anyone to do that. But
Wow.
you know, the you
Mhm.
have multiple options and several plans to do an exam. Then also, there are some courses whereby you have to pass the theoretical exam or the practical exam in order to have access to the oral exam. In such case, the oral
Yeah.
exam has most of the mark than the practical or the written
Mhm.
exam. The practical exam is just to separate the unserious student from the serious students. Those who just came to look at the questions. So the written exams are just vets you into the oral exam. So the oral exam is where you get to prove that you really know what you are doing. You get to correct some of your mistakes.
Mhm.
You get to improve some of your answers, and that is very much helpful because it helped me. I had a course in my first semester, applied statistics and data analysis. So
Mhm.
the oral exam was even more difficult than the practical exam. We're given data sets, we have to do analysis. But when I got to the oral exam, I was hard to. I was in oral exam for 1 hour 30 minutes. I mean, I was answering questions for 1 hour 30 minutes. It was very exhausting, but
Wow.
I had, I had the highest mark. 30/30, and I was like, I mean, I've been dreaming of the professor. It's just that serious. But it's good when you are able to
Also, I
defend
mean,
what you
thank you
know.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good when you can
Thank
defend
you
what you know.
for mentioning all these parts. What did you say?
I think it is good when you are able to defend what you know, because education here is not just about knowing the
Of
formulas,
course.
knowing the
Yeah.
definition. It's about
Yeah.
understanding.
Yes.
Can you explain it to a child? So if you can explain it to a child, then
Mm-hmm.
you you could.
Yeah, and I think that's what the system is also really after. I was shocked when my statistics professor was like, after we written the exam, and then you still call us to come and do oral interview. You know, the first time I came into this Italian academic system and I had to do oral interview in front of all my other colleagues, and I'm like,
Colleagues.
what is this now? But it's interesting. I got used to it. Again, it's also part of the growth, you know. You're able to express yourself in front of people and the like. So thank you for mentioning that. Oh my God, time is just flying. I don't understand. And I think it's because the conversation is also very, very interesting. And for
Mm.
me, I really want you to talk briefly because of time, please, on accommodation and living tips. So, what tips will you give to international students seeking accommodation in your region? And then also any general tips or advice you will offer to international students about living and adjusting to life in your region. I know that there are some that, when they are looking for accommodation in your region, maybe Facebook or something, but how does it work in your region? Just briefly, and other living tips as well.
Okay, so in casino, first, let me just tell you the reality. There's the housing crisis in casino. I mean, we have more people than the available houses or
Mm.
accommodations available. So that's the reality. But there's still a solution, and the solution is this: you can check out Casino International on Telegram, send a request to join the group. So there you get to see openings. I mean, there are different subgroups for accommodation. There you see students referring free available accommodations to other students. So that is very helpful. Then you also have sharing of rooms, which is common. And basically, that's just the most helpful hints I think I can give out. The rest would be more generalized, like checking Subito, Immobiliare, or any of those agents and so. But the most helpful tip is checking out Casino International on Telegram. On that platform, you can reach out to other students. You would see
Mm.
students, post the platform that there are available accommodations there. And this is the importance of community, of, you know, being able to connect with people on ground. It's just very important. You cannot solely rely on some generic information out there. You need people who have lived the experience telling you this is what you need to do. Then living adjusting your lifestyle with so as an international student is just try not to live a flamboyant lifestyle. If you want to get clothes, you can always wait till Saturday. Every Saturday you have the I don't know how to call it now, the community markets, you understand? So they display clothes on the roadside, but it's just like we have in Nigeria, like Kutangura or Super, or where you buy cheap clothes. So if you go very early, you can get some clothes like top and like a complete clothes. You can buy a shirt for €1. You understand? You can buy a trouser for let's say €2. So that's if you go very early. But if you don't wake up very early because it's Saturday, it's weekend, you can still buy a shirt for €5 rather than going into a store and spending €20 to buy. You understand? So just know yourself. Don't live unnecessarily. I mean, spending on unnecessary. Then for food, initially I was thinking Lidl was cheap. Then I discovered Sebon, and I was like, no, Sebon is expensive. You just have to move around and try different places, comparing prices. When I go to the store, I go with calculator. Yes, I'm an economist, so I check I check the price of what I'm buying. I confirm it when I am at the checkpoint, and yeah, I know this is what I bought and this is what I've been charged. So it's not like when you're in Germany and you're giving extra, you're paying for sustainability tax or whatever it is. I don't know what they call that. But we have to go out. But I think for students, Lido is very expensive. Sebon is expensive. I use Casino, I use Conad, but because it is closer to me and it is the cheapest compared to others. So, but there's another one, but the name is not a bell to me because it's not so popular, and it's actually a long distance from where I am. So
I think,
it
sorry,
is not a
Lido.
not Lidl. Lidl,
Is it Lido?
Sibon, and Echo are expensive, and I mean they're expensive compared to. Did you get it? Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot
You think they're cheap
on the name.
once you start to compare the price. You can buy
Imagine.
the
Me, I don't
pasta
even do it.
for five. You can buy I buy pasta for 65 cents. Meanwhile, if I go to Lidl, it's like €3. So that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, even the water I buy, I compare the prices across different stores, and I'm like, okay, this is better over here. So, it's just best to cut spend below your means. I think that answers the question.
Yeah. In summary. Thank you. Well, just quickly, time is going, but are there opportunities for job, especially for students in casino? What is it like?
Casino is a small city, a very small city. So it's quite difficult to find jobs in casino because it's a very small city. So of all the admissions I got, casino is the smallest, and I think I intentionally chose it because I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, and it's a very busy city. And coming to Italy, I first landed in Bari. Well, Valenzano is a kind of peaceful environment, community, but when you go to Bari Central, it's very busy. So, but Casino is more like Valenzano. It's very calm, very peaceful. So there's nothing much really happening in Casino. So there are not really jobs aside restaurant jobs, but you don't really get more of it. So it's difficult for students. During summer like this, students go out of Casino to Napoli, to Roma, or other cities. So because they don't have a casino, you understand? And when you are part of this Casino International on Telegram, you get to see all these job offers. You understand? So those are opportunities to explore. Then after studies, you have the opportunity to, you can apply for search for job. That's if you haven't gotten a job. The thing there is you just have to be practical because nobody's going to do it for you. So you have to be searching for jobs, and if you get one before you graduate, you can just apply for work permits. You understand? Or if not, you can. I think the Italian government grants you a grace of 1 year to apply. I mean, to search for jobs. So that works. At the moment, I just take tutorials. For me, I think that works well. In that way, I keep studying and reinforcing what I know. So
Tutorials on English or what?
tutorials on statistics. I teach statistics and data analysis.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I mean, I take students that those preparing for exams and those who want to learn, like to really understand it. So that's what I do. But for jobs, for students' jobs, most students look outside of casino. That's me, classmates, project mates that they only come to school during the exam period for just for exams. You understand? And some even have to go to Malta to work. And I mean, they miss the whole lecture period, the whole 3 months of lecture period. They try to study on their own and come to do the exams. Because, you can do the exams like 3, 4, 5 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. But for me, I like the experience of being in the classroom, really understanding directly from the professor. It works best for, and there are some courses just go read by yourself. Like I know we don't have time, but
I understand.
yeah, it's just like a joke. Like Professor Posey will say, "Oh, you don't need to come to my class. Just come to the exam and pass. Trust me, you cannot just go to the exam and pass. It's not possible. Of course, it's not possible."
Wow. Yeah, thank you so much. Please, I will need a favor from you for the audience. Maybe you can send me the link so I can attach it to this to the description of this video when I'm uploading it.
You
Like
mean
the
the
link
Telegram,
to
right?
the Telegram link so that people that are aspiring to come to
Okay, sure.
casino maybe that can also join and have some of their questions and answers. So just I have 2 questions and then we'll leave because this is so that it won't become information overload.
More than an hour already.
Based on your experience, still on the advice section, what will you advise international students considering to rely solely on regional scholarship for financial support? And then any additional tips, of course, you've shared some that you recommend to students seeking funding for their study abroad. So people that want to rely solely in because of the life challenges or family situation, they want to rely solely on the regional scholarship. What would be your advice for them?
Hey, we don't have time now, said so. The thing there is, you always have something to give. You understand? You always have something to give. I've seen a job of working in the farm, tomato farm, but I know my health cannot carry it, and I also cannot subject myself to such conditions. But you always have something to give. There's something I did not just start teaching applied statistics and data analysis. I taught some people. I just helped a couple of my classmates. They attend lectures regularly, and they referred me. They referred other people to me. And the next set of people I taught them for free. I can get information from them because I needed information on how to live and survive in casino. And they had the information because they were my seniors. My second set of people I taught, they were my seniors. They were second year students. I was in my first year. I taught them for free to get this information. When they all passed, they also referred their friends to me. You understand? And they were like, "Edward, why don't you start teaching?" They were so happy they sponsored me on a fully funded trip and took me out of casino and all that. And they're like, "We want you to charge people for this. This is so you already." And okay, then I was like, "How much do you think I should charge? Because I don't really see it as a business." They're like, "Don't you need money?" I said, "I needed money." So they were like, "Okay, this is what other people charge. You can actually charge like this." And I taught the first set, the second set, currently teaching the third set after them in groups, you understand?
Wow.
So you always have something. You don't necessarily have to abandon school to go wash dishes or be with. I mean, these are not, you can equally do that. It's not bad. Those are not, they are also students, and it doesn't make them less of being a student or a human. So they are waiter jobs, they are kitchen jobs, I have done it before when I was in Bari. I've also when I was in Bari. I did it almost a month. Yeah, I did it last summer. Last year summer, I did such jobs. So it's all some people else can take it. Some students abandon the lecture period, you understand? They go to the north of Italy and they do their work. Whenever there is any presentation or let's say test or exam, that's also another option. Then there's also the option of, you know, doing online jobs, teaching students. I take some students physically, I take some students online. Currently, I'm taking online. So you have options, but the point I'm trying to make is you have something to give. You are not just solely capable of, like, everyone has a value. That's just it in summary. So if you're unable to watch plays because of your
Yeah.
health, maybe because you cannot stand long or you have some allergies, there are other things you can do that are legal that can also fit.
Thank you so much. I mean, don't neglect your value, bring it to the table. Ajakomi, thank you for sharing that. So, last question, and we'll close for today. So, if you can share future plans after completing MSc program in Italy and rounding up on this phase, reflecting back on your academic journey so far, both in Italy and everywhere. Of course, this section of the MSc and the diploma together, or the time you have spent in Italy, what lessons have you learned that you believe valuable for other international students? That's the first part. And then if you can let us in on your future plan, and then we end it. Thank you.
When you find okay, so the first part, I would say that if you have not left home, you think your father's farm is the biggest. So when you leave home, when you leave your country, when you study abroad, you understand that there are other types of farming, there are other sizes of farmland. This I am saying is not about farm or agriculture, but perspectives to life. You get to see things from different point of view. You get to understand this thing can actually be done in a different way. You understand? And there's no reward for suffering. So there are other ways of achieving things without the tedious ways you have been doing before. You understand? There's also things you can share with others. There are insights from your own local community, you understand, that you can share with others that gives, that makes you valuable in any community or gathering you find yourself. So it's, I don't know how best to say it more than that, but I think you get the message. You have something to give
Yeah,
from
thank
where
you.
you're
That's
coming from. And
yeah.
then, into my future, what next after my program? I already made a couple of friends who are currently doing their PhD, rounding up their PhD. I'm gathering insights. I'm reaching out to professors and to people in organizations who are, doing things I find interesting. I was on a call yesterday with someone. He's working in a company as a consultant, but it's more of applied game theory. Game theory is, I know it's another discipline, but we also use it in economics. So applied game theory in consultancy service in businesses, I find it interesting. I already have my PhD proposal, and I intend to use a subset of that for my master thesis. I think I'll be able to answer that question.
Awesome.
No. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me on this
so much.
show.
I mean, this is full of so many insights, and I'm super happy we are doing this at such a time like this. So,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your incredible journey with us again, Beyond Borders Voices from around the world. Thank you for lending your voice to what we are doing here. And then I'm so sure that this insight and experiences will undoubtedly inspire our audience and viewers from around the world as well. But before we wrap up, now is the final one. I don't know if you have anything else, any final word of wisdom that you share before we call it finally. Any final words? In short, in five
Any final
seconds,
words is
1 minute.
that you are better than you think. Yeah. You are far better than. Would I be selected? Would I be. Most of what I have been selected for in my life were the things I least expected to be selected. And it happened in scenarios like, I know I will not be selected, but let me just apply. You understand? Like I just tell myself, I know I will not be selected, but let me just send the application and let's see what happens. And eventually, I turn out to be sometimes even their best applicants. So you are better than you think. It's actually the title of a book by Dora Albert, which I read a very long time ago, about
Awesome.
10 years or so. So yeah, you are better than you think. Send the application. The rejection email is normal. One rejection email sent, 10 more to replace it. So you're better than you think. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as you've heard, you are better than you think. Send that application. And that concludes today's episode. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories on this channel. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with friends who will benefit from hearing these amazing stories and experiences. So, until the next time, thank you again, my guest, Edward Oladipupo. And I'll put a link to his bio, LinkedIn, and Instagram for you to connect with him if you so wish. And I'm sure he will be able and is happy to help as well. So thank you for coming again, and bye. Enjoy the rest of the day.